tube. You fools try to limit me, muting and deleting channels, thinking that's the end of me. Y'all are not on my level, smaller than a centipede. This is my purpose, TBT is a ministry. I do not tire, my God gives me energy. Chose by Messiah, you believe? Come get with me. Married to a black queen, we got the illest chemistry. Founded the black tube, and now we making history. Black tube, 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 what? Black tube, 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 what? TBT, 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 what? TBT, 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 what? The blacktube.com. I'm a giant killer, son of an omniscient God who's realer. If this be the thriller in Manila, I'm Ali in his prime. It's showtime, go time, about to take what's mine. We are not with your agenda, we showing real life.
Yo, peace and love. What up, though? What it do? What's popping? What's cracking? What's happening? Times 9 times 10. Give me like 2 more minutes, y'all. I'm setting everything up. Just give me like 2 more minutes, and we about to get to it. All right, all right, all right. Let's get to it. What's going on? Peace, peace, God. We got T in the building. Peace to you as well. You know, good health, good wealth, uh, good life, health and wealth can play a part. You know, good mental health, physical health, and strength to you and yours, and this and that and the third. You heard? I swear. If y'all caught me last week doing a what is it, Kool-Aid pockets and champagne taste, I was trying to see. I shook the bottle to see if it'll do it again. Hold on. Give me hold on. See how people do you? Ready to fuss at me? Literally, it just flew off into the air a minute ago. It was like blah. It ain't gonna do it again. But yeah, it came up a little bit, and that's a heavy top. That's that dose top. So get get to get him his needs right quick. I want to see you drink this too. So what's up? What's up? I there are some things again, and it is big proof they don't let certain things circulate uh by way of me to you. When I share them on other platforms. So we're gonna do it right here. And yes, indeed. Indeed, we're gonna talk about Palm Springs. What happened at Palm Springs? Why, I haven't heard many people mention Palm Springs, California, Section 14. Section 14. The story of Section 14 is akin to the Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Rosewood, Florida race massacres, the Bruce's Beach atrocity, and countless events where families had their lives upended and their very existence threatened for no reason other than the color of their skin. We know, nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. You don't, when you are a colonist, a land thief and things of this nature, it doesn't. I'm not gonna say it don't matter because again, I'm a scholar as to the complexion or the nationality of the people, the ethnicity, the ethnicity. How you say that? Ethnicity of the people. But again, if we look at the doctrine of discovery, it's a plus when these particular um I don't like the word. I'm not gonna say I don't like the word landowners or a landlord. It all plays a part. But the point is, the land is yours by birthright, right? By bloodline, and it's passed down. Whether I'm not gonna argue with you whether it's matrilineal or uh, uh maternal or paternal. You see what I'm saying? Fraternal, maternal, sorority. And I'm mixing shit up now. You know what I'm saying? Just really to get y'all attention for real, because these are some issues, and I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it so y'all can read along with me as we go through this. Um, Again, I didn't expect for them to bring up what we've already discussed. Like we've already discussed Bruce's Beach, right? We talked about that, so let's put this in big a little bit. Um, that's why. See, New York Times want me to put my email in and all that. Nobody got time for all of that, you know. Um, so again, no form of compensation will wash away the sins of oppression and theft entwined with this history of racial discrimination, restrictive uh, covenants, and the endemic racialized trauma that is very intentional consequence of those practices, right? But acknowledging the harm and restitution are the very least we can do to begin the right to right the wrongs. Now we know with the uh, relatives that were the descendants of those who own the beach, Bruce's Beach. We know they got that back and then sold it right back. And a lot of people, had a lot of, excuse me, negative, it was a lot of negative feedback with their choice again. But, we weren't the ones who spent literally decades to try to get something returned to us that belonged this particular land in particular. You see what I'm saying? Like it is their choice to do, what they will, what they may, with that, because it belongs to them. So I don't have an opinion. I wasn't one of the people who was like, well, see, they just got it right back and sold it right back, and you know what I'm saying? Like it was their choice. We won't say what it is. But what makes it new news is, again, you see they're mentioning other territories outside of Khalifa, or what we call in California, right? So I just wanted to briefly touch on that. I'm gonna actually come back to it if I can get the New York Times article to come back. But there's more. There's more. Without, whether you consider this to be good news or bad news, that will be your own individual personal opinion. And a lot of times we may not need to share that if it's not offering some type of recourse or remedy for our people as a whole. Like you being upset what somebody else did with, with what they fought to get back. Again, it's like that's not, it's not helping you. And to be honest, that particular family could care less as to what you think. So, probably in my pocket. So let me roll on over here. Let me take this down right quick. Now, initially, the Detroit Free Press released a story about these 30 plus officers who don't have a police enforcement license. A police enforcement license, right? We have a license, then we have, various mandates and charters, and we have, I said license. We have situations where various people are appointed to a position. Remember that word, they're appointed, not elected, appointed. Again, keep these terms in mind as we carry on, right? So they didn't have, I noticed not in any of the articles that I looked at, they didn't say, you know what, I never put my music on. Let's play this music. They never said law license. They're real careful. And if they have, show it to me. I haven't seen it, right? So what are we listening to? Let's listen to beats, right? Hope is not too loud. Let me see. Let me take it down one more notch. I just know during the last live, like I could barely hear the music, so it was purposeless. It's a word, right? So did I have that? Yeah, here we go. So we're gonna go with this. No, I don't. We don't want to talk about the lines. So let me share this with you all. Good day. Buenos dias, buenos noches. Let's see, where is that? I think this is it. Yeah, that's it right there. Whole big screen. Where we at? So let me zoom a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong button. I'm trying, y'all. Trying to learn how to edit as well. Here, at least 32 Detroit police officers have been working without. So at least 32 Detroit police officers have been illegally working without active law enforcement licenses. The Michigan Commission of Law Enforcement Standards confirmed on Thursday the officers were hired between November 2019 and August of 2024. The state agency said the Detroit Police Department failed to request activation of these officers' licenses when they were hired when they were hired or rehired. So to me, that kind of, that means that this could have happened before, right? If an officer leaves his or her employer for any reason, their license becomes inactive. To reactivate it, the hiring agency has to submit a request to MCOLES, MCOLES. That includes the executive oath of office and an attestation by the agency that the individual meets the commission's licensing standards. And this is obviously an acronym. MCOLES wrote in a news release issued to the Free Press, right? So again, we know what a license is. A license is what I call a permission slip, right? It gives you permission to do something that would otherwise be illegal. That's what a license is, and that's what it is used for, right? So let's examine this, right? We have a thing called a marriage license. We all know what a marriage license is, right? So without this piece of paper, basically what they're telling you is it is illegal for you to be in a union with your spouse in the house without that permission slip. Now, notice that I know there are states who, for example, Ohio, right? So I should look it up, but I'm about 100 on it. You get what's called a marriage certificate, right? And that's something that you can acquire by simply, purchasing and taking your vows or whatnot. But with the marriage license, there's some other things that take place in order for you to be able to access this license, right? Again, what this does is this makes that particular state a third party of your affair, right? That way, the proof is here. When marriages have irreconcilable differences, ain't that how you say that? Irreconcilable differences, right? And they decide to have a divorce, the state is involved because you put the state in. This is going back again to the Christian Black codes, and you talk about the vagrancy laws and Jim Crow and so on and so forth. All of this ties in and goes together. There's no one without the other. Know that. Is can't have one without the other. That's what it is. So let me look. Let me see what else was over here before I take this down. So I want to read. I want to go back. So let's look at this New York Times article again. That's mentioning the Palm Springs reaches nearly $6 million reparations deal with the former Section 14 residents. So this how y'all gonna do me? You're not gonna let me look at it. So let me see. Y'all. Let me see if this is gonna resolve this issue right quick. See if they'll let me up in here so I can read this entire article. Because it seems to be that the other article is what are you saying? Is again covering something that we've already covered. And to my understanding, as I can see, there are some new excuse me some new funds being released by way again of a city, not of a state, and not of the federal government paying out restitution, right? Compensation, reparations, remedy, recourse, resolution. Let's see, I'm trying to get this to work. Hopefully it works. And I can just look at this and read it off right quick. And we don't have to be extensive this evening. Yes, sir. Oh, come on. I'm not. I'm not trying to do that. Nah, I should have knew they was gonna do this, y'all. They asked some credit card numbers and all kind of. So let me see. I'll just put it in like this because I'm sure something else will come up and I can share it. I can read it and I can show it to you. That way you can backtrack and get with you what you need from it. 'Cause again, we've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, we'll never get reparations." Y'all can forget about that. I'm not one of those people. I'm not one of the people who's, makes this argument of how great we are and, you know, things that we've done in the past we'll do again. I don't disagree with that. But to build an entire city or town, including hospitals, banks, schools, uh, um temples or churches, if you may, your own cemeteries, even, right? And to be robbed of that, not just by way of a racist mobs, plural, but with the help of the government by way of the government sending in their military, right? Not to help the people who are getting bombed out of cities and towns that they just freshly built. No, 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 no. To help the criminals is what they did, right? And it shouldn't surprise anybody because again, this is the same government that paid reparations to the former slave owners, if you will. So let me see. Section 14 is a 1 square mile area in downtown Palm Springs, California. That was the site of a land battle between indigenous people and Western expansion. So typically when you start talking about Bruce's Beach, they use the word black people, black people. They don't use this type of language, indigenous peoples, right? So this is why you just don't look to the New York Times and CNN and Fox. I'm not saying go to any unvetted news sites where it's a bunch of satire. You got to steer clear of that. Please, please, please. Stay away from this, right? See, this is giving me the same information. I don't want the same information. And it's even here, National Museum of the American Indian, Section 14, the other Palm Springs. So I should have looked at the date. This is the Smithsonian, so I don't expect to get a whole lot out of this article, but I'm going to share it anyway. Let's see. Where we at? Right here. Bam. So let's go full spectrum here. Full spectrum. Right? Okay. So section 14, the other Palm Springs, California, right? The other Palm Springs, California. What do they mean? So again, this is taking me back to 2020. And like I said, this additional 6 million something reached. This article goes back even before Bruce's Beach recovered their portion of the land before they sold it back. So look at all these dates. Wow, so they actually burned the neighborhood down. This is a repeat. For me to even read this, it's we've seen it happen. And everybody points to the red summer, but this is 1950. Let's go back down to it. Where is it? Must have been down a little bit further. So this is the new one. So it's the New York Times. See why I keep doing that? I'm not about to pay the New York Times for nothing. I'll come back to AP News. Uh, 1956 to 1969. Here they say it's a Black and Latino community. Are these people what they label American Indians or not, or are they just Black people? And this is the first time I've ever heard the word Latino community when we're referencing the section 14, right? So let me just go to AP right quick and if the whole thing. See, and it's saying it's Black and Latino. Okay, let's just deal with it. So Black and Latino families displaced from Palm Springs neighborhood reached tentative settlement, right? Now this is Sacramento, California. Black and Latino families who were pushed out of Palm Springs neighborhoods in the 1960s reached a $5.9 million tentative settlement agreement. So again, like I said, this is November 13th, 2024. So this is post Bruce's Beach being returned, that family being returned their land. And again, it was their choice to sell it back. It's their choice, right? So we're not gonna harp on it. That's like, we're not gonna harp on it. It's not ours. It's like me being upset with my mother because she decides to sell, what my maternal grandfather left her before it can be handed over to her descendants, so to speak. So, okay, it says the deal was announced Wednesday and the city council will vote on it Thursday. The history of displacement that took place there had to be largely forgotten and had been largely forgotten until recent years, said Ariva Martin, a lawyer representing more than 300 former residents and hundreds of descendants. The fact that we got this over the finish line is remarkable given the headwinds that we face, Martin said. The deal is much smaller than the $2.3 billion the families previously sought. Again, $2.3 billion. 6 million or 5.9 million is way far away from 2.3 billion. That we all can agree on, right? The 5.9 million will go towards compensating former residents and descendants. City Council will also right, exactly what it is. Also was more, it has not been determined how much each family or individual will receive in a indirect compensation, Martin said. Money for housing assistance will go towards low-income Palm Springs residents, with priority given to former Section 14 residents and descendants. The city council was deeply gratified that the former residents of Section 14 have agreed to accept what we believe is a fair and just settlement offer, Mayor Jeffrey Bernstein said in a statement. So let me put this back on the screen so y'all can see this. Where is it? It should be this. Yeah, that's it right there. Boom. I don't know why I took it down. Now zoom it. Wrong button. Oh yeah. Okay, that's bigger. Boom. The city council voted in 2021 to issue a formal apology to former residents for the city's role in displacing them in the 1960s from the neighborhood that many Blacks and Mexican American families call home. The tentative deal comes as reparations efforts at the state level have yielded mixed results. Democrat Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law in September to formally apologize for the state's legacy of racism and discrimination against black residents. But state lawmakers blocked the bill that would have created an agency to administer reparations programs. And Newsom vetoed a proposal that would have helped black families reclaim property that was seized unjustly by the government through eminent domain. Eminent domain, that's a um, two words that we're very familiar with. You know, when many of us began to research various acres of land, that were held by our ancestors, and we no longer have access to whether the land was taken by way of eminent domain or whether the land was taken um, by way of property tax foreclosure and things like this and that. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't apply to us at all. Same way it doesn't apply to the various, not just recognized tribes, but they're federally. But that's what I meant to do. I meant to get Big Chief on the phone so we can go over that, because it's a difference in between, like, for example, Yamasee. Yamasee is a recognized tribe, but by the United States government, they very well know who they are, and we are documented throughout history. You see what I'm saying? As one of the clans who was whooping their heasters, as the elders would say, right? So, this is one of the reasons you don't hear a lot of talk, about that. But again, certain tribes, even some of the mongoloid, should I say? I should say that. It's too late. I already said. You know, I'm just saying. Again, that status that they have, that's the status that some of our clans don't care to have, because there are other stipulations and regulations and participations or prohibitions that go along with that exemption or non-obligation, right? When it comes to various taxes and registrations and licenses and things that sovereign peoples don't participate in, right? You have to say what it is. So I had to, they had to kind of break that down for me some years ago, because again, we were creating our own documents and doing our own thing, right? So as far as me paying a sales tax, no, I wasn't with it. I never was with it, because I looked at it like this: it's a sales tax, right? And if I am patronizing your business, I probably should definitely take this down, y'all. So let me take this down. But if I'm patronizing your business and I'm making a purchase, right? At that point, I'm the purchaser, the consumer, the buyer. I'm not the seller. So how do I get stuck paying a sales tax? That don't make sense, right? You have to examine these things very closely, right? Because a lot of people, y'all just don't know no better. Damn, I took that. Some people just don't know no better. They look at it as though, okay, you're trying to get out of an obligation that you're obligated to pay taxes to the state or the Fed or the city, because you're a citizen, right? You're a citizen. You enjoy all the luxuries of being a citizen of this city, of this state, of this, of a federal government, and that protects you, and hold on. Again, I've said this many times, right? If they are having studies This is deal with House Resolution 40, right? Study. We want you guys to study this more. We're gonna look at it. For me, again, when the government says, "Hey, we're gonna invest millions into studying this reparations and what happened in the past," again, for me, that's an admission of guilt, right? And you're gonna hear many people, you know, uh, in the federal, in the state, and in the local government, as well as what judicial, your legislative, and your executive branch, suggest that we're gonna have these discussions, and we're gonna examine the study, and figure out, how we can make this right. Again, that's an admission of guilt. So while y'all figuring that out, and looking at some of the things, saying that we may not have this much money to pay out, but let's keep studying it. I don't want to keep y'all, you know what I mean? You can study it from here to there, but what can be done right now to bring about some relief, as well as uh you know shrinking this wealth gap somewhat, you see what I'm saying, is eliminate these taxes that you've been putting on these people, that you shouldn't be putting on these people, when you owe them everything. Make it make sense. They won't. They won't unless we, force the issue. And that's what we here doing, right? And then this is the other thing. Like this book, take me y'all. Let me take me off for a minute. Like this book right here. Let me say something to y'all. This book, Larry Koger, I've been saying this dude's name for a long time. Koger. Larry Koger, like Kroger. When we having the discussion about reparations, I don't need y'all bringing this up. You know what I'm saying? I don't need, I don't want to talk about this when we talk about reparations. Let's keep it a book, right? Like if you're not for reparations, you say that there were no slave ships and all of this and that. I've been through that phase already. And during that phase, I never, ever, ever said that there were no slave ships. It's something that we can agree on, is the fact that the numbers, the amount of people that they saying that they bring over to these shores, something is not right about those numbers. Those numbers are very much overly exaggerated, but it still don't change the fact that that shit happened. You understand? It don't change that fact. Now, at that point, you would have to prove that the insurance policies that existed back then that paid them for the multitude of the Middle Passage activities that were happening, where people would rather jump off the boat, or force them to murder them than to go into slavery, right? So that's a big loss, right? When you so-called travel across what they call in the Atlantic Ocean to bring some people over here when it was already people over here. You understand? Like, again, not saying that, I would never say it never happened. Again, the amount of people that they can prove that they bring over here is where the problem lies at. Outside of those insurance policies that were cashed in on all of those human cargo, chattel property is what they would call it, that was lost, is recorded in his own record. But it seems to be the vast majority of so-called black people, when you go back, when you begin to do an ancestral chart to find your people, you understand, very few of us can find that we had someone who came from a Senegal, a Nigeria, Ghana, Congolese, Sierra Leone, and places like this. Is like a lot of us just assume that that's where they came from. Some of us go and we get a DNA swab test, and you see what I'm saying? And based on similarities, right? And in DNA, they point you to somewhere else. But we know how that happened. Like the people who they are saying are the indigenous people of the Americas. You see what I'm saying? That test that you're being tested to see if there's a match with you with them is not going to be, because those people are Asian. They aren't the most ancient people of the Americas, North, South, and Central. So again, I don't we don't want to talk about certain teams when we're trying to accomplish certain teams. We talk about this, you know what I'm saying? When you're ready to talk about this. Or when we're talking about things like this. But when we're not talking about things like this, oh, like, why? Why? Yes, I'm very aware of the book, right? 2005, 2006. We're passing this, Moors was passing this book around like hotcakes back then. So, probably before then. Here's another one. Like, when we talking about reparations, especially on a federal level, like these certain things, I don't want to. If we're talking about reparations, when I'm going to talk about they were white and they were slaves. You see what I'm saying? And I know this is it's funny because I probably done shared over the years that particular picture more than anything, right? More than probably anybody, I'm sure. I'm almost sure of it. I ain't really come to hold y'all up. I'm trying to tell you I did not. I just wanted to get that out, and they ain't want to let me get that out. As we can see, there are times I want you to be a member and give up a credit card. And I know it's something that y'all miss that y'all probably miss. I never YouTube. What they call them? They don't call them UFOs no more. They call them UPTS. What they call that shit? On this one, it still say UFO. Wait a minute. See if no, it ain't gonna do it. But the female on there, she was going bananas. I ain't even noticed my whole list and left. That's ball. I don't think my audio is gonna be worthy. But we about to find out right. But I shared the video. I didn't just do my love. I didn't just oh really I shared it while it was going on live. And that shit was bananas. Like, I don't know. To me, for someone not to consider, I'm not gonna say believe, for you not to even consider that there are other life forms, galaxies, universes, like I'm not that, arrogant to think that we're like the only things that exist. Like I don't, but that show, whatever, however you feel, never forget, it's all about you, not me. All about you, or how you gonna do it, how you want to deal with it. Let's see. On a side note, Satire Media, The Onion, bought Satire Media Infowars. See, I'm not even hip or with the queuing. Like I ain't even hip. Like I'm. Let me say something before I get up out of here because I'm out the bounce. Right. Um. For example, what is that? What is it? Mail, News, Mail, Daily Mail, or whatever it is. And the lady, Candace Owens, like her career being what it is at this current time and last year and probably the year before, regardless to her getting fired, because I don't know if they hired her back or none of that, because I'm not a fan. I don't follow her. I will never have anything good to say about her, no matter what. comes out of her mouth, whether it's something that resonates with me uh, uh, or not, based on I will never forget the things that she did and that she said about peace be upon her, Breonna Taylor, peace be upon him, George Floyd and others, right? She followed that narrative of uh racist shit and satire things, right? And she plays both sides. Let's not forget that she herself was a victim of racism in high school or middle school or something like that. And the NAACP came out and whoever else, and I think she won like 35 grand or something like that, only to turn around and I mean, it's her preference. She married a one of the people who was picking on her and calling her the N-word. One of those, right? Others, as y'all like to say. Like, that's a sign in itself. The White Lives Matter t-shirts with Kanye. You understand? It's like they're pushing a narrative to get to where they got, which it doesn't include us. No matter what she's saying, that woman says some of the most deplorable shit about melanated men and women. But then she really started falling into talking really bad about the women. Like, I understand the fact that she is who she is. She cannot be a Megan Thee Stallion and all the few other younger so-called black women who she fucking drags, right? Because that's not who she wants to be. She's Becky, Susie, and whoever, give me some more name. Becky, Susie, Wendy, that's who she fuck with. That's who's perfect to her. So it's nothing she can say. She can recite all Malcolm X speeches. She can recite all any of the master teachers who we look up to. You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna never forget that woman. Cause she is, first of all, she's not worthy because again, she's not out here apologizing for none of that shit that she said. Right? And we're not gonna talk about the lies that she told, right? You hang around people who are a part of their own cartel, their own conglomerate, right? And they all say some of the same crazy shit to the point to where black people are thinking in their mind, well, maybe that is what we is. Maybe we do, we need to change. And she took your whole shit and spent it around. We wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. If we charged up to go against the enemy and then we start looking at each other, like what the, come on, man. Did you not read Sun Tzu, The Art of War? These people know what they doing. So to say, yeah, I like some of the shit she said, well, you can keep liking some of the shit that she said. I'm not fucking with her. I'm not fucking with none of them people. Period. So just remember that. Remember that I'm not fucking with them. Y'all be how y'all got short-term memory, amnesia, selective memory, PTDTAS, PTOS. You know what I'm talking about? Like, we got some whole other shit. Like, it just irritates me. It just irritates me to see, for example, we're just gonna talk about the regular type media. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, the Breakfast Club. Once upon a time, they was dragging her, saying some of the same things that I'm saying now. Like, we can't believe she said this about George Floyd. We can't. But the minute the Daily Mail and the white people said, you gone up out of here, you little niggers. You didn't follow suit on what we said. You went against some of the things that we said. You understand? Now all of a sudden, she want to come out and half-ass try to defend black people, right? Now you want her on the Breakfast Club. She's saying certain things, right? I don't give a shit what you can say anything, right? You already built a career of being who you really are and who you really wanted to be. I'm with Dr. Umar Johnson on that. Like, you the mate that you chose shows what side that you fucking on. Period. And I know in this current time, we got her, Katanji, people, looking at who they chose to marry and making a big thing about black women. being sellouts and traders when goddamn we is nowhere in the race of interracial marriages when it comes to the numbers. Black men fucking outnumber everybody in half for fucking decades when it comes to marrying outside the race. And I'm not trying to drag my brothers, but every time I see some of this fake ass gender war shit and I see y'all dragging the sisters, that's the first thing you want to bring up is how we marrying white men. No, motherfucker. The fucking audacity of any melanated man to ever say that. We don't have to look at the NFL, the NBA, and just the entertainment industry as a whole and see what the fuck y'all been doing since the days of Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte. Like, this shit been popping off. Melanated women is not interested in fucking white men like that, period, point blank. We're not. And haven't been. We've been the most loyal women, barring none. But the minute a nigga get a few dollars, I'm just saying what the fuck it is. I'm saying what my eyeballs see, and looking at the actual records, the marriage licenses and certificates and shit like that. What I'm saying is fucking shit. So please stop bringing that up. If you have a problem with how a particular melanated female is presenting herself, we can deal with that. But that's the wrong, my brothers, that's the wrong part for you to start talking about, well, and the sisters married. Y'all been marrying outside. Been doing it. So that's like, that just make me turn the whole fucking computer off. Just stupid shit. Did they cut me off yet? They shut me down. They shut me down yet. They shut her down. These are facts. We already went over the statistics already. So we don't have to do that. Vital record certificates. I don't get it. I tune out a whole lot. And I've been tuning out. I really ain't been fucking with this shit based on, I'm just seeing the same behavior and worse behavior versus better behavior. It's like, okay, there were various movements that were teaching us some of everything, right? And then here comes the splits. These students expose this various master teacher or imam or Ram Pork Chop or this pastor or this rabbi and Father Thomas, and this is shit that has been happening. The pedo thing. We get into the pedo thing. Whether we talking about Christians, people who deal with Christianity, Judaism, or Islam, it existed in all three enough for us to be never putting that shit before ourselves, right? Never putting that before your daughter, your son, your husband, your mother, your father. Never putting Islam, Judaism, Christianity before yourself. Caring about that shit, caring about a sky daddy more than you care about your own children and yourself. I would think after it's been recorded in history for centuries, not just decades, of this type of pedo behavior, of this other demented mental dysfunctional behavior. Some things I can't even say on here. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm still gonna follow this shit based on, okay, we get into the messenger and the message, right? I'm not saying I'm no longer gonna deal with the message, but if the doctrine supports the ideology, you see what I'm saying? Like, that can't balance itself out. Not for me. It's good to know. It's good to know. But to want to be at war with other nations based off of something that you believe, and that's the world, that's the current state. Like, people just overlook shit. I can't do it. I'm too old for that shit. I only want to deal with the facts. Everything else, y'all can have. Unless I'm trying to be entertained. Nothing wrong with entertainment. But the worship of the entertainers and the worship of the entertainment is no different than the worship of, sky daddies and their doctrine. Like no. I went through first, second, third, fourth, fifth grade. Miss Green, Miss Camp, Miss Standard, those were Stanford. I'm sorry, those were our first, second, and third grade teachers, right? Kindergarten, right? Love those classes, but I don't want to be trapped and remain in those particular messages and lessons. I want to graduate onto something else and something else and something else and continue to learn and grow. But you stunt your growth when you trap yourself in that one box, and then you start creating enemies because you want to tell everybody else how they're wrong. Because they don't believe as you believe and worship as you worship. Like, that shit is crazy. I can't deal with it. That's just what it is. So, what are we talking about? This is an informative way. So there's more to know other than just, how you look at the news. And it's all bad news. Don't bring me no bad news. Remember the lady from The Wiz? Don't you bring me no bad news. Yeah, that's 5.9 million. Like this. That's wow. We got a lot of work to do. And with that, I'm going to say peace. Y'all have a good one.
YouTube, you fools try to limit me. Muting and deleting channels, thinking that's the end of me. Y'all are not on my level, smaller than a centipede. This is my purpose, TBT is a ministry. I do not tire, my God gives me energy. Chose by Messiah, you believe, come get with me. Married to a black queen, we got the illest chemistry. Founded the Black Tube, and now we making history. Black Tube, 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 Black Tube. Black Tube, 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 Black TBT, 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 what? TBT, 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 what? TheBlackTube.com. I'm a giant killer, son of an omniscient God who's realer. If this be the thriller in Manila, I'm Ali in his prime. It's showtime, coke time, about to take what's mine. We are not with your agenda. We showing real life.
Supreme.
Shock.
They say I'm dope, I said I'm smoke, fire, blowing air, carbon, earth, solid, water, wet. I'm steady beat, a sister soldier that dies effects. So gone with all that hoopla and rah-rah. Unless you talking about Atun, Namuna, Amara, pineal glands, all seeing eyes. We call the third eye. We came to build, not pay your bill. Sling them in municipality, city seals like roadkill, descendants of ancient mound builders. Not supposed to need encyclopedias, genetically encoded with 720. We got amnesia, claiming we Christian cretins in love with Yahweh, Muhammad, and Jesus. But you was living inside of God when you was a fetus. But believers will never believe.